Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. We're looking for Eileen to dial in any second now. And Dave Conway, school committee member, will be here sometime this morning. The national debt, 37.556 trillion. That's up about 29 billion in the last 5 days. So,
What is Trump on a spending spree? Why is it up so much? Buy some new tanks?
part of it, interest over $1 trillion in interest
Who are we
every
paying
year.
the interest to?
Everybody. Americans who own treasuries, foreigners.
Anybody who buys treasury stock.
Yeah.
Eileen Delrossi.
Okay.
Good morning, Eileen.
And Dave Conway's on his way.
Good morning.
I'm not hearing her too good.
Well, I've turned the mic on. Maybe you'll do better.
Okay.
So last night I checked and I was promised a low temperature be 44, and coming over here it was 41. High is 73 and sunny, that's good.
But there's no wind.
And a sunny weekend, highs of 79, if you trust the weatherman.
Oh, it's going to be great. Nice toasty weekend.
How are things on Christian Hill, Eileen?
Chilly.
Yeah. So, today, in 1935, the Second Italian Abyssinian War erupted when Italy invaded Ethiopia.
I hate when that happens.
It was not good. 1942, a German V-2 rocket reaches a record 46 nautical miles in altitude. In 1900, author Thomas Wolfe was born, passed away in 1938. 1925, Gore Vidal, author, novelist, screenwriter.
First name again?
Gore, G-O-R-E.
It's gone out of popularity, hasn't it?
Apparently, yeah.
Was there a Saint Gore?
No.
Okay.
He died in 2012. Chubby Checker was born on this day in 1941,
Who didn't like that Twist song?
and he's still with us. Al Sharpton was born in 1954, and on this date in 1867, Elias Howe passed away. He had been born in 1819, and he invented the sewing machine.
What was his last name? How?
How?
Related to Dick?
I don't know. Could. In 1936, on this date, John Heisman died.
What did John do?
He was born in 1869. Have you ever heard of the Heisman Trophy?
Is it basketball?
Football.
Football, okay.
Named after him. But he played football, basketball, baseball. Coached them. And in...
I thought it was, they had some trophy from the Green Bay. He's the same guy, Heisman? Okay, never
I
mind.
don't think so.
I know enough about sports to be dangerous.
Woody Guthrie passed away in 1967. He'd been born in 1912. So, and of course, top news here in Lowell is our state senator Ed Kennedy passed away yesterday morning, apparently.
Yes, I didn't even know he was sick. I was so shocked to see that.
Eddie was a great guy. Everybody loved Eddie. All over Facebook yesterday, talking about him last night at Father Sanella's party, and a big grief time in Lowell. Eddie was a good guy.
He had
Rest in peace.
complications due to pneumonia, and he passed away in the hospital. Another reminder to get your pneumonia shot. So he'd been in and out of the hospital since early September, and we didn't realize it. He broke his arm in early summer, so he's having a little bit of bad luck. 2 stints on the Lowell City Council, 78 to 85, and again from 2012 to 2018, was mayor. Then he succeeded Eileen Delrossi in the state senate in 2018. And he was also on the Middlesex County Commission back when we had a county. He's survived by his wife Susan, 2 children, Eddie and Christine, and 3 grandchildren. And Ed Kennedy was 74 years old. So
Wow.
we have to pay attention to our health. I mean,
Yeah.
can you imagine being 74? Heck, I think John's 74.
No, it's coming up.
In a couple of weeks, John will be 74. It's a very sad thing. What I don't know and didn't look up is what the process will be to replace Ed Kennedy. Maybe we'll talk about that on Monday.
Maybe they'll put Dominic in his place, because I feel like Dominic was so close, and then he can be Senator Lay.
Let's talk about that next week.
Next week.
Okay.
And the federal government is in a partial shutdown. Not total. Are you impacted in any way that you know of, Eileen?
I mean, I feel like I've been impacted regardless. Yeah. So what does it mean when the government shuts down like that? Like, how, like, I guess.
What it means, Eileen, is it's a party game. We don't elect Americans anymore. We elect people to party in Washington, D.C. It's a disgrace what the parties are doing to this country. And I see no end in sight. They want to continue fighting just because there's red checkers and there's blue checkers, and they hate each other's guts just because of the color of their checker.
Well, we'll give you a chance in a couple of minutes to give us your solution. So, Social Security and Medicare are okay, they'll still flow. Military's still there, although they're not getting paychecks, along with air traffic control and the sky marshals. Some are on partial show up. My son's a lawyer with the Marshal Service, my youngest son. He works every other day. And even though he's in a job that is paid for by monies collected from the bad guys, he doesn't know if he's going to be paid. My supplemental insurance to Medicare, TRICARE, they weren't answering the phone yesterday.
So people with Medicare may be affected?
No, your Medicare should flow. But in my case, I had a question about a bill, and there was no one to answer the question.
Yesterday, I listened to KFI, a radio station out in California. Here's a picture of Father Sneller at his party last night, stealing this from Marie Sweeney's webpage. She's got some pictures of the party last night. There's like 300 people there. Good, wicked good attendance. So congratulations to Father Sneller. But I listened to California radio last night, yesterday afternoon, KFI's the radio station, and most of the air show was canceled. They're having an air show, and the U.S. Air Force is not going to show up at the air show. They're going to have the Canadians there, and the British are going to show off some planes, but the Air Force ain't coming, and that's part of the government shutdown. No air show.
Seems fair enough. So the Democrats have demands. They're saying they want Obamacare subsidies made permanent. They want transgender surgeries for minors and health care for illegal immigrants.
So that's what's holding all of this up with the government shutdown?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a story? I just don't understand. So Thursday was October 1st, right? No, Wednesday, October 1st. I had an appointment. It was just a follow-up, right, with my orthopedic, right? And so I gave him my license and my insurance because I had already had a day with AT&T, my cell phone carrier, and I couldn't even say my name another time. And so I was telling the girl this, and she was like, oh, thank you for paying the copay before, blah, blah, blah. And then she says to me, oh, I'm sorry, the doctor can't see you because the insurance card, you need a referral. And I'm like, but this is a follow-up. And she says, well, he still can't see you because you need a referral from the doctor. And I'm like, well, what about the fact that I have been seeing him, right? And I've seen him since I was 10 years old. I've gone to the same place. And then I just, I walked away because I just had no words because I was so aggravated. So I couldn't be seen. And then I'm in the parking lot. I'm like, hey, what about that copay? I'm like, I already paid that. Something had to have worked for them to be able to charge me a copay. And then I went back in and I'm like, hey, what about my the copay that I paid? And they're like, oh, hold on. And nobody knows. And then the girl walked away because now nobody else knows what to do. And they said, oh, our manager said it'll go back on your card. I was like, okay. And I'm like, can you tell me again why I can't be seen? Oh, because if we put that through and then sent it to insurance, then because you didn't have a referral, it would be considered insurance fraud. And I'm like, I had no words. I have no words. No words.
That is a little weird, isn't it? Yeah. So, I don't know what the solution is down in D.C. Are the Democrats going to fold? Is Trump going to fold?
I mean, these are all the hot button issues that has made America not so great, right? And that the Democrats swear is what is the right way. And so it's such a hot button topic. I don't see anybody folding.
John, what is the solution of the nonpartisan?
It's not going to happen because the Senate is never going to vote for it. But you have to quit your party when you're sworn in. You swear in to be the best American elected official out there, and you have to quit your party when you're sworn in. And that's the solution. 2 comments from the audience, and it says, the Heisman is the college football. Lombardi is probably football. I think the texter is right. I know this Lombardi guy, he's a big shot out in Wisconsin. They named the stadium after him and everything. And now Bart says, do the 535 members of the American Mafia get paychecks when the government shuts down? Yes, they do, according to California radio yesterday. Back to you, Cliff.
All right, so John, what is the solution today?
There isn't any. We're screwed. The parties are just, the American public's too lazy to actually call Lori Trahan. Kick Lori Trahan out of the office. Call Lori Trahan today, and you say, Lori, I'm not voting for you next year because of the government shutdown. Bam, and hang up. If everybody calls Lori Trahan, she might go like, oh, I could lose next year. And you Republicans and you Democrats, you got to find somebody better than Lori Trahan to run for office that's going to do more for America than for their party. They love their party more than they love you. Oh, no, we don't. Yeah, then show it. Why is the government shut down? Why are you firing 1,000 people in Massachusetts? Why are you doing this? You love the party more than you love us.
If you want to get Lori Trahan's attention, vote in November.
No,
If
you
we had a
you want attention, you said
50%,
today.
excuse me,
How you get her attention today?
if you want to get Lori Trahan's attention, if 50% of the voters in Lowell turned out for the local election, all of the politicians would say, what the heck is happening?
So that Lombardi trophy is for pro football.
Yeah. So there we are, Vince Lombardi. There's another name not used that much.
Not around here, but out Wisconsin, Greenway. Yeah, big time. They named the stadium after him and everything.
Wow. So, what do you think the solution's going to be, Eileen?
I don't know. I don't think this is going to end pretty, honestly.
Yeah, can you imagine if the people who they've laid off live like regular Americans? They blow all their paycheck every week. They don't have really anything more than $25 saved up in the bank. How are they going to pay for anything? So, and the people, air traffic controllers that are working in Boston today on delayed pay, God bless you, but same thing. How are they going to make their car payment? They just call up the bank, hey, bank, how you doing? Yeah, we're going to be a little delayed on the old car payment. Same thing on my mortgage payment. Just a credit card company, same thing on. Who's going to pay the interest they got to pay? The bank's going to say, no problem, give us more money. Not this, and again, Lori Trahan loves her party more than she loves you.
Lori Trahan would argue, as does Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, the 2 minority leaders in the Senate and the House, that they love Americans so much that they're willing to shut down the government to achieve their goals, which is more money for Obamacare, government-funded surgeries for transgenders, and health care for illegal immigrants.
Well, why don't they take care of,
And you're an un-American for not supporting that.
why don't we take care of health care for Mexico and Canada? Why don't we just take care of the Canadian health care and the Mexican health care because they're our neighbors? Let's do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Comment from the audience. I'll put this up. And it says, when Obamacare was passed, all those phonies, the cartel, had their own health care. Good angle. Thank you.
Okie doke. So, the mayor's race in New York City, on Monday, Eric Adams, the sitting mayor, had dropped out. He didn't endorse anybody, but it's an advantage to Mario Cuomo, who is challenging Zohan Mahoney, who's the Democratic nominee. Now there's pressure on the Republican nominee, Curtis Sliwa. There's also an independent running, Joseph Hernandez. But it doesn't look like Sliwa is going to drop out. He's saying he's not dropping out.
I was surprised at Adams, but it's, from what I understand from New York radio is, his party doesn't want him to run. That's why they kicked Adams out.
Yeah.
They won't let him in his money. And, you know, when I write a check to a political person, I think the money should go to them. I don't think their party should have a say where that money is going to go. But from what I gather, the party has all the say.
Yep. They're funding the parties. Got any thoughts on the race for mayor, Eileen?
New York mayor.
No, in New York?
Yeah.
No. I don't know, maybe it's ignorance, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, I know you guys just talked about it briefly, but...
Well, you know that the Democratic nominee, McDonough, is pretty much a socialist edging towards communist, right?
Oh, yeah, that definitely would not be good.
He's been out there saying he wants to tax white people because they have the money. Are people from New York going to flee to Florida? Do we know?
There is talk that Wall Street, the financial district, is going to move to Florida because of crime.
Well, jumping from New York City to Europe, apparently in Denmark there's been a run on survival food because people are concerned about what's next with all the drones flying over Denmark, shutting down the airways.
Speaking of drones, Cliff, these Amazon drones they're talking about that are going to deliver your packages, they're 80 pounds empty. So that drone that Amazon's looking at, 80 pounds flying in the sky. And when I went to drone school, you can't fly over people. I mean, you physically can, but the preference is you never fly over people, never fly over a crowd. So when you're flying, if you're covering a parade and the parade is going down Merrimack Street, you fly over the building. So if you do lose lift, you crash into the roof of a building, you don't crash into people. And these drones, 80 pounds, they're having difficulty around cranes. They can't see cranes, and the cranes are killing them. So something Amazon's working on, but 80-pound drone. Imagine 80 pounds dropping down from 200 feet up.
Yeah.
That'll put a hole in your roof.
So apparently the French have detained a tanker which is part of Russia's shadow fleet and have arrested the captain, and they're interrogating him. So
Name, rank, and serial number.
so the question is, how do the Europeans stop the Russian drones that are penetrating airspace, Poland, Scandinavia, those kinds of places?
Well, as you probably know, Cliff, the drones are new to the market, and they have eliminated the Abrams tank. Abrams tank, the 20 Abrams tanks that we sent over to the Ukraine have been destroyed by drones.
Yeah.
Lesson learned for the USA. Watch out for those drones. And you see the new Russian tanks flying around Ukraine? They all have like a cage on top of them. Now they have a cage around the whole turret. And the cage twirls around with the turret on the Russian tanks because of the drones. And so their thought is if the drone, it can't get through that chain link fence because of the propellers. So that's their short-term defense, but that ain't gonna last long.
So,
And even now, along your your secret chit-chat you have with your military friends, did they talk about the drones at all, the effectiveness on armor?
yeah.
So what are their thoughts? Can you say?
Yeah, drones are effective on armor, and the solution right now is to force them to fire off at a distance. The way it works is they sort of have a hollow charge that creates a tongue of fire that goes into the armor and burns through it. But it's, if you stand it off a certain distance, it won't even scratch the paint. So that's the purpose of the cage, is to make the shaped charge, as it's called, go off early. The
So by radio control.
I'm sorry, what's radio controlled?
That's how you would communicate with a drone?
Yeah. And the idea is that you prevent the drone from getting close to the tank, therefore it cannot penetrate the armor.
The drones they're sending out there, I'm sure your friends are aware of it, have predetermined commands that can't. They're unstoppable. They're like a robot,
Yeah,
and they're not controlled by radio. They're on a mission. That's what they're going to do.
but if you've got a cage around your vehicle, they can't inflict damage.
Exactly. That's short term.
Yeah. So I think the Europeans are concerned about what Russia is doing now and what it might do in the future. Russia is concerned that we'll sell the tactical cruise missiles to Ukraine, which the Ukraine can use to attack targets in Russia. So the cruise missiles probably will travel 1,000, 2,000 miles. That'll get pretty deep into Russia. So the Russians are trying to scare us about it, that they'll escalate. So, Eileen, are you much of a drone person?
No, I can barely walk on most days, so never mind trying to navigate a drone. But I think it's cool. Like, I like looking at John's pictures of the drones and how he flies over everywhere. I think the concept's really cool. I just, I don't understand it much. So I guess that's why I'm not much of a drone person.
So, you're having trouble walking? This is from your back?
Well, I feel like everything I do is just a little sideways, right? So, I mean, I lose my balance often. I park crooked. I have to really think about, like, everything that I'm doing because I guess maybe because something happens with the fusion where your brain doesn't always talk to your back, right, or to your body. So you have to retrain it. So I've worked really hard with that, but I'm still not the steadiest person in the world. Yeah. Every time I park my car, I get out and look at it, and I'm like, that's horrible.
Well, you don't have one of those cars that parks itself?
That exists?
Yeah,
Oh.
it does.
Didn't know.
Let's ask John if his wife's Tesla parks itself.
Question about my wife's car?
Does it park itself?
Yes. You can summon it, it'll come get you, and we'll go park itself. She doesn't use those features.
There you go, Eileen. That's the solution to your
I
problem.
think that concept is so crazy. Like, I know it's safe, obviously, they wouldn't sell them, but, like, that fact of, like, just giving up your control to, like, what, I don't know, like, I don't know if I could be okay with that. Maybe because I don't trust myself 100% really sometimes with parking in terms of, but
Cliff, what percentage of planes land themselves?
I don't know.
What'd you say, 50%?
hold on, what did you say?
John wants to know what percentage of planes land themselves, and I would say probably less than 50%, because it's a whole big light airplane market, and those airplanes don't land themselves.
Okay, so let's talk about commercial, Delta, American, Breeze. How many of those, what percentage of those planes are pilot sitting in the cockpit and he has the computer on the plane, lands the plane?
Well, this is all after my time, but I'd say most of them.
So Eileen, next time you fly to Florida, the pilot didn't land the plane, the computer did.
Well, yeah, it's funny because Anthony and I were just talking about it this week. He was saying that a pilot makes $500,000 a year.
Some Delta guys do.
Delta. And then the only thing they have to do is pay attention for takeoff, and everything else is on autopilot, essentially, once they take off.
No. Cliff will tell you more about being a pilot. So Cliff, tell her what she's missing there.
Yeah, when the autopilot dies, you've got to be in charge. I can remember one time, there was a four-ship, we were flying to the tanker, and the person, I was a backseat pilot in the F4 at the time, the person I normally flew with, Archie Lorenzen, the real Arch, was leading the flight, and all of a sudden, his nose went down sharply, and he started descending. And what happened was, the autopilot broke, and the airplane went into a nosedive. He recovered it and brought it back up, and everything was fine, but that autopilot was broken.
Would you say the pilot
Scary.
nowadays is the co-pilot and the computer is the pilot?
I wouldn't put it in those terms, but you could, yeah.
Okay. So I got some text from the audience here.
Let's see what it says.
Move Eileen out of the way, and it says, there really aren't enough Dems who think the taxpayer should pay for teen trans surgery and health care for illegals. Give me a break. Second text, what's the brouhaha about China, Russia planning an invasion of Taiwan? I guess that's directed to you, Cliff. Is there any brouhaha about China and Russia trying to take over Taiwan?
Yes, there have been news reports that Russia's been supplying equipment to China to enhance their invasion capability. So China is slowly edging up on the threat to suppress democracy and capitalism in Taiwan.
Is Taiwan in NATO?
No.
Understood.
Taiwan's sort of all by themselves out there off the coast of
Do you think we'll come to their
mainland China.
defense? I think we'll come to their defense.
I think so.
They make our chips.
Wait a
I
second.
think we lost Eileen.
I think so.
Sounded like a hang-up. I hate when you hit the wrong button.
Well, sure, I have to call
So
back.
Cliff, you got any weekend plans? This apple picking season? A lot of people taking their grandkids apple picking. Got
No.
any weekend plans?
No.
Okay.
The big deal will be taking Martha to church.
Oh, nice. This is her first adventure back to church?
Yes.
Wow, that's a big step. God bless her.
And then getting ready for Monday's show. So, I maintain Hamas is winning the information war, but, and I don't think it helped that Israel arrested Greta Thunberg on that.
Eileen Delrossi.
That is loud.
Eileen.
Sorry about that.
So we're talking about Hamas, that I thought they were winning the information war, and I didn't think that it helped that Israel arrested Greta Thunberg. What's Greta Thunberg's story? Is she, she's not ADHD, she's, what's that other problem? She's autistic, is that right?
Who is it?
Greta Thunberg?
Oh, I don't know. I have not actually heard of her.
She's
She's, not
been
she's the one, she's not a U.S. citizen, is she?
no, she's Norwegian or Swedish, one.
What does she do?
She's been a climate change advocate. And maybe John can bring up her picture and we can look at her. But she recently switched from climate change issues to supporting the Hamas cause in Gaza. And there's a flotilla crossing the Mediterranean bringing aid. And apparently, I saw a news report said the Israelis had arrested her.
They should.
But on the other hand,
Greta Cole, Greta Lux, what's her last name?
Thunberg,
But first name's Greta?
yeah,
Thunberg with a T?
with a T.
Oh, here she comes.
Here we go.
She's not a very attractive girl, but nonetheless, there she is. There's a good picture of her right here. Press, if they like you, they don't have a good picture of you. So there she is, Greta Thunberg. And
Although the Palestinian Friends have been active in Manchester, England. Somebody from Syria, I believe, originally from Syria, ran his car into a synagogue and got out and knifed a couple people, and they thought maybe he had an explosive belt. The police shot him. Took them a long time to decide it was a terrorist event.
bye-bye butterfly.
Not very good.
I got 3 texts here, Cliff.
All right.
So, Apple Crisp at Topsfield Fair. It's a homer. Good idea, Topsfield Fair, that'd be fun. The pilot is pretty important, but the most important person is the cleaning crew after a flight. Yuck. And the last question, very important, did Cliff get through the Harris book? Did you finish off?
I'm about 25% of the way through the book. I think she writes a lot better than she talks.
Do you think she wrote it?
I'm sure she had strong editorial support, as a minimum.
I'm confident of that as well.
But you can see her input. There's a lot of personal little details that would require her participation in writing that book.
How much more money would it have cost for her to win? She went through $1 billion. $1 billion.
I don't think money would have made the difference. Ideas would have made the difference.
I think her word salad didn't help.
And she tied herself to Joe Biden.
The word salad killed her. I mean, Trump, you could ask Trump a question, he'll just say, look you right in the eye and say, listen, dummy, here's the answer. And he'll tell you very bluntly what the answer is. That's the kind of Trump. With Kamala, she'll say, well, what was yesterday and could have been yesterday. Let it go. What the heck does that mean?
One of the things that helped Trump win was Charlie Kirk.
What did Charlie do for him?
He got young people to vote for Trump. Now, it wasn't a huge shift, but it was enough of a shift in minorities, blacks and Hispanics, that it allowed Trump to get the popular vote and to win the needed electoral college votes.
So, Cliff, coming up on Kamala's book is this question. You might not be able to see it, but I'm going to read it to you. Do you mean the Willie Brown part? Is that in the book, the Willie Brown part?
Nope.
Not in the book, DW. Willie Brown, is she the guy she was fooling around with?
Yeah. Willie Brown used to be the Speaker of the California Assembly.
No, the question was, is she the guy that she was fooling around with?
I said yes.
I understand.
Take yes. Willie Brown was the Speaker of the California Assembly, and he is such a deft politician that when the Republicans temporarily won the majority in the Assembly, he still got himself reelected as Speaker. And he was also prominent in San Francisco politics.
He was popular in her bedroom.
I don't know if it was her bedroom. Willie Brown's wife's view was
He was popular on her pillow.
that Kamala Harris was a temporary thing and not to be worried about. She has complained so far in the 25% that I've read, she's complained about lack of support from the White House.
Does she speak about her promiscuity?
No.
Understood.
I mean, most of us don't speak about our promiscuity.
I just it's a book. You never know what she's going to talk about.
Well, that's true. You have any thoughts, Eileen?
Sorry, no, I was just dealing with an internet situation.
Ah. So, they're still dealing with the killing of Irina Zavutiska down in North Carolina. She was the young lady riding home from work on the local light rail, and the guy behind her pulled out a knife and stabbed her in the throat, and it was all over for her.
He stabbed her like 17 times.
Yeah. So, Eileen, earlier the producer asked about city government salaries. You got anything on that?
While she's thinking about that, I got 2 texts. Same way the American people view her, that's from DW. Is there anything insightful about Kamala's book? Is it worth the money you paid? Thanks for reading so we don't have to. That's from Bart.
Bart, you're welcome. I'm saving you money. But I will, when I get done, I'll let you know what I garnered from it. But, reading it so far, she seems like a nice person, but I'm not convinced that she should have been president. I'm happy with my vote so far. So Eileen.
Yes, Cliff.
I understand, I asked ChatGPT, and it said 10% of the employees of Lowell City government make $107,000 or more a year.
Yes.
Is that pretty close to your number?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah, honestly. And there's a good amount of them.
Yeah, 10%. That's a lot. Do you have any thoughts on that, John?
Oh, please go. Yes.
Yeah, government.
All right, Anthony.
Quite bluntly, government's just too big. And I've said it probably 100 times on the show. I don't want anybody fired. But when they go to another town, like I got a better job in Cambridge, so they go to Cambridge, or they retire, the city council should have to approve that position to be refilled. I got 2 comments from the audience here. The more she shows up in the media, the better it is for people to see we've dodged a bullet. That's on Harris, that's from Jay. And then Jeannie Balkus writes, hi everyone, I'm just curious about Mr. McDonough. You made a comment about Vice President Harris's promiscuity. Do you have the same concern about men? Just curious. Yeah, what's his name? Conway Twitty? He's going to get sentenced today. Well-deserved. And he's a very public figure. And he's done a lot of bad stuff. The other guy, Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein. I'd like to get more information about that, who was on the plane, but our government doesn't want to provide that to the public. So it is what it is. Thanks for the question.
As I recall, we had a guy running from Colorado running for U.S. President, Gary somebody, and he baited the press about, just follow me, you'll see that I'm a good guy, and they tracked him down on some boat with some person, not his wife.
Is that in this century?
I don't think so.
That's what I think. Gary Brothers or something like that.
Yeah.
I think he was related to Gary Frascarelli.
It was I'd say within the last 40 years, but probably not this
I'll find
century.
this picture in a second. Comment
So-
from the audience, people in government shouldn't be called public servants. I understand.
So, yes, I think that there's a bias to be more sensitive about female promiscuity than male promiscuity, but you can get in trouble as a man if you were publicly promiscuous. What is it? 40% of married couples commit infidelity. They must be doing it with somebody, so I figure it involves both sexes.
Gary Hart was the guy.
Gary Hart.
And oh boy, all these ads come up. Sorry, I can't put his picture up. There he is. Come on, Gary, get up there, buddy. Gary Hart. No relation to Gary Frescarelli, but they had a better one of her sitting on the boat with a bathing suit. Let's try images.
So,
I'll bring that. I'll find some more images.
all right.
Gary Hart fooling around. I'll put that in Google.
I can't remember which president, but about 120 years ago or so, we had some president that the campaign, the opposition was mentioned that the presidential candidate had a child out of wedlock, so this has been used. But yeah, I think women are more susceptible to that than men. You're right.
1980, Cliff.
1980, okay.
There's a, not the picture I'm looking for, but there she is on the boat. Oh, I lost it. Dang. Come on, baby, get back up there. Where is that window?
What was the name of the boat?
I don't know. Fooling around, 1980. Where is Gary Hart today?
That's a good question.
Probably married somebody.
All
I'll
right.
ask where is he today.
You might try the Wikipedia thing. That might give you a quick answer. I think the name of the boat was suggestive in some way. So there's still a discussion down on Beacon Hill about changing the Commonwealth seal. Have you seen that discussion, Eileen?
I think I've only heard about it on this show. I haven't really seen it anywhere else. But I think that would be a shame because of how much history is just rooted in Massachusetts. I mean, it's a symbol of our history and our rise.
Yeah. Do they teach about those kinds of things in school?
I mean, I know in the elementary ages they do teach about the Indians and how the Indians helped the Pilgrims and so forth, and but I don't know how much of that gets carried through in the higher grades for them to hold on to. And then there's been much ado about, even just changing the name of Columbus Day, which they did because they said he was not a good person, and they changed it to Indigenous People Day.
Yeah.
Gary
So,
Hart.
I mean, there's been a lot of change. And I started going back and watching The Sopranos because somebody had said that my son reminded him of the kid Anthony, AJ, and it's funny how they were really ahead of their time and they started talking about then how they wanted to get rid of Columbus Day, and that was the early 2000s, and it took until, I believe it was 2014 or 2015 that they finally changed the name to Indigenous People Day. I'll go.
Okay.
Okay. I'll be right there, Dave, thanks. Okay, so I got two texts I'm gonna read to you, Cliff.
All right.
And I'm gonna go rescue Dave at the door. One more text to go. Come on, baby, okay. Servants don't make 100 grand a year, good point. Most of oh, come on now, too many pop-ups. Most of Hollywood back in the day was built on disgusting men who preyed on girls. Good plan. And then we have this. Gary Hart is 88 years old.
Oi.
So he's up there. He's still around. Back to you, Cliff. I want to
Okay.
get Dave.
So, we had a shooting out of Michigan. A gunman set fire to a Mormon church and shooting at congregants. 2 people dead and 8 more were injured. A 40-year-old married with 2 children. They'd served in Iraq and maybe he had PTSD. The thing that I found interesting was one of a Mormon put up a sort of GoFundMe page and has raised $200,000 for the wife and children of the shooter, which is sort of like Erica Kirk forgiving the person who shot her husband, Charlie. I thought that was pretty good. What'd you think, Eileen?
I think giving money to somebody who shot somebody and giving the act of forgiveness are different. I don't know. And I know you guys were talking about Charlie Kirk earlier, and I have heard Candace Owens is all up in arms that this was much bigger than just instant your kid being upset.
Yeah, I've heard that. Michael Yon said the same thing, but I'm not sure I believe that. So, welcome to the show, Dave. We're on page 7. You want to do a break, or should I just introduce the new show?
I think we're blown past the break, so go right ahead.
Everyone, welcome to City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. On the phone, we have Eileen Delrossi, my co-host. Dave Conway is our guest. Dave's a member of the school committee, as is Eileen. And of course, we have our producer, John McDonough. So how you doing, Dave?
Good morning. I'm doing marvelous.
Wow. So I thought I'd start, because it's a new show, that yesterday our state senator, Ed Kennedy, passed away. He represented 1st Middlesex District since 2019. He'd been our mayor, as I recall. I'm a registered Republican, and he's a Democrat, but I always felt like I was treated in a friendly and respectful manner. So I'm sorry to see Ed Kennedy pass away. He had passed away from complications from pneumonia. You got any thoughts, Dave, on
Yeah, I've known Ed for many years, great guy, and he served the community with distinction. So it certainly is a loss, major loss for him.
Yeah.
And my sympathy to the family.
Yep.
I served with him on the city council. He was the mayor, and he did a great job. He ran things well, and he's going to be missed. He's a good guy, a very good guy.
74. Our health is precious. This is the season to get flu shots and pneumonia shots and things like that. So people should think about that. John, do we know anything about the service for Ed Kennedy?
No, I'm going to be sitting with his family at noontime today.
Okay.
We'll discuss the options then.
All right. More to follow on Monday. So, Dave, you and Eileen were part of the school committee meeting Wednesday. How'd that go?
Well, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah, no problem.
Dave got a great motion passed to restart a subcommittee for the safety subcommittee, which I think is very much so needed, especially in today's world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. I was pleased to.
Yeah, Cliff, could you give David a microphone, please, and turn it on?
My fault.
Oh. Thank you.
Should be 4 inches from your mouth, so just drag it to you.
All right. Okay. How's that?
A little closer.
These are new ones. These are upgraded since the
Yeah,
last
nice
ones,
stuff.
huh? Wow.
Nice stuff.
We're doing well here.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think that I put a motion on, actually, this is the second time I put a motion on to have a safety audit done of our schools. And it could get costly. However, I thought that it was an extremely important thing to do so that, you have these what they call subject matter experts that come in. And this is what they do, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. And, they can go into a school and take a look and say, this is right and this is wrong, this should be changed and so forth. Well, anyways, they are expensive, and the committee as a whole wanted to apparently hold off on that. So I brought that motion up again, and we decided to put the motion into a subcommittee and discuss it in a little bit more detail. And I was kind of shocked because they were confused on where to put the motion, which my motion was to, discuss a lot of safety issues and so forth. And I'm saying to myself, why don't we just put it in the safety subcommittee? Well, I find out that the safety subcommittee had been eliminated, which to me, it made no sense at all. So as Eileen just mentioned, I put that motion on to reinstate the safety subcommittee, and that passed unanimously, thank heavens. So now when we have any kind of safety issues, we can certainly vet them in that subcommittee, which I look forward to. Because again, we didn't have a place to sit down and discuss these things in detail, and especially with today's situation, more than ever, we need to have our schools safe, as safe as possible. And if somebody says, "Oh, the schools are safe enough," that's where the mistake takes place. We should always be striving for more safety and better ways of keeping our students and our staff safe.
You use the term subject matter expert. I know John loves acronyms. in a previous incarnation, we used to use that as an acronym pronounceable. We would SMEs or SMEs. So you'd hear people talking about, what do the SMEs say about this?
Well,
So,
Well, I think it, excuse me, and no matter what you're dealing with, I don't care if you're dealing with companies or different corporations and so forth, or the service. I mean, you have individuals that they're the experts, medical field and so forth.
yep.
It's like, if you take over a company, what do? You have an audit done. If somebody becomes governor, what do? They have an audit done of the state to make sure that, what's going right and what's going wrong, and that where we can, shore things up and make it better, more effective. Because let's face it, you're dealing with taxpayers' dollars. I mean, we should be as vigilant as possible on how we spend it, and spend it as wisely as possible. And I can't think of any better place to put that money into safety. Because let's face it, we have children and our own children, our grandchildren. We want our kids to have a great education, but what's paramount, most important, is that we want to make sure our kids and our grandkids are safe, period.
I heard that, I agree with you, with keeping the children safe. I heard that the Bartlett School has no handicap parking. That seemed a little strange to me. I would have thought that would have been job number one for the Bricks and Works people.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I went over there, and it seems that we discussed that in detail in the last school committee meeting, and I'm glad that people came from the Bartlett community and spoke, because now hopefully we're not kicking the can down the road any longer. Let's get the stuff taken
Yeah.
care of. And it's there are different issues. I got tipped off that one of the schools, their PA system wasn't working for, this is hard to believe, but for over 6 months. Now, how do you not have a PA system in a school for over 6 months?
Fire the principal.
I'm sorry?
Fire the principal.
Well, I mean, I
That's
think
what I would
that
do.
the bottom line is, and that's why if you had a safety audit done of the schools, and you shouldn't even have to have that. That's a no-brainer to take care of that. I couldn't believe it.
So we're gonna keep that principal?
Well,
Contract, let's extend his give him or her a raise and extend the contract, the Tommy Golden rule.
Replace them with an electrician. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
In any
I think that
emergency-
ties in a great deal to the whole maintenance of effort agreement and what school staff is allowed to touch and what they're not allowed to touch. I mean, a lot of school, and that's the issue, like school custodians aren't allowed to touch a lot of different things because of a contract with the DPW and maybe their electricians, right? Because the school doesn't have a staff of electricians, that only the city has it. So the school has to put a work order in, and then the city is responsible for dispersing the right staff from the city to fix it. And that's where a lot of the issues with the overall buildings have been having an issue. Because of the lackluster time that it's been taken for the city to respond. And that was one of my motions this past week, to have the city manager, to request the superintendent and the city manager sit down to begin and update the maintenance of effort agreement, because it's outdated, very outdated, 20 plus years old, I believe.
Well, Eileen, I know you probably can't hear me, but communication is key in any emergency. If the PA is broken, the school should be closed until it's, like if there's no water, Why do you cancel school? Because there's no water. Because you can't flush the toilet. If you can't communicate an emergency, you should close the school until the PA works. It all falls on the principal. Did the principal communicate to the superintendent that I have a situation at my school, the PA doesn't work? Did the superintendent know this? If so, it falls on the superintendent. And to say that it's somebody else's fault, don't go Democratic on me. It's going to be beautiful down the road. We'll get this, it'll be fantastic.
Right.
Is the PA fixed now, Dave?
I've been told yes.
Good, thank you.
I'd like to say something positive about internal activities. And I'm just implying this, that this is a good thing. School down by where I live had between the two schools had a basketball hoop up, and the area around it was rock rubble, which I thought was not a very good thing. And in fact, somebody introduced a motion about this, getting it fixed, so I'm thinking it would have been Fred Bahu. I mean, in my mind, it's Eric Gitcher, but that would have made it city council.
Right.
And the motion got rejected. Well, we were told that things were just fine. On the other hand, I drove by there, that was like a year ago or 9 months ago. I drove by there recently, when I voted. I drove by there. It had all been, the rock rubble had been replaced with asphalt. Now, asphalt's maybe not as good as green grass, but I think it's a heck of a lot better than rock rubble. So somehow there was a self-correcting mechanism between DPW and the school that I think improved the situation. So I have some kudos for the system.
Well, I think you have to, when you put the motion on, that sheds a light on things, because sometimes you pass on information and it's like, yeah, we're going to take care of that, Well, you have a number of these things that come across the desk, and you're almost assuming that it's going to be taken care of. And then you find out it isn't taken care of, and after a while you say, okay, enough is enough. Apparently we have to put a motion on here in order to get this done. Sometimes when you put the motion on, it still isn't necessarily taken care of 100%. And then when, like at the Bartlett School the other night, you had parents and teachers and so forth come down and voice their opinion, and then I think that's extremely important to do that too. So hopefully it will be taken care of and done correctly.
Two issues for the audience. The Riley School is getting a new playground. At what cost?
I'm sorry?
One question, where did maintenance money go? Back to you guys, thanks.
Well, yes, they've been working on that playground, all summer.
Which one is this now?
Riley School?
Oh, yes, Riley. It looks great.
Well, how about Clemente Park? They're moving at the speed of government. They're on Middlesex Street? Oh, my God. Moving at the speed of government. Dave, I'm going to guess, not Dave, Tommy Goldenhire, one of his friends to fix that park. It's taken forever.
Yeah, and John, I think that was one of the issues highlighted at the school committee meeting, because Clemente Park is connected to the Bartlett, and the inequity of the fact that the Bartlett is not getting paid attention to, and other schools in the district are being paid attention to quicker. And Bartlett is dilapidating, the outside and the inside. It's unfortunate in so many different ways.
Well, it's a thing where it would do well for the principal to do a Facebook Live of these issues every Friday. Comment from Bart. For the safety of the children. That's a new slogan to get taxpayers to feel good about higher taxes and more fees. Good angle, Bart, thanks.
The school system, do we have homelessness amongst the students?
Yes. As far as I know, yes.
Is it a big deal?
I'm sorry?
Yes, it's on the rise.
Oh, it is?
It has been on the rise since COVID.
So look at, if Anthony is sleeping at my house, he's deemed homeless in Lowell. If you're not sleeping in the same house as your mother, you're deemed homeless.
Oh, yeah, you would. Yeah. That's
not
the
right. That's not
classification
right.
of homeless.
If Anthony's
But, right,
sleeping-
I think I see what you're saying, John, is that people, like, the system is being almost taken advantage of because of a parent, right? Even though the child is with the parent, like the amount of homeless because of parent situations is on the rise when, right, I think I get what you're saying.
But my point, Eileen, is the state is rigging this so it looks like all these kids are homeless, and they're not. They're sleeping over their aunt's house or their uncle's house. They're just not sleeping in the same house as their mother. Now, those of us lucky enough to have kids, we've all had some stormy transitions in their life where they wanted to move out of the house, and you're just sick and tired of them, and they move to somebody else's house. They're not homeless. And the state just should stop that. Back over to Cliff. Sorry, Cliff.
I think you're wrong.
Tell me more.
I think that if the child has moved out of his parent or her parents' house and they're a student, they fall into that big worthless umbrella called homelessness.
No, how is it that they have a roof over their head? That's homeless, Cliff. No roof over my head tonight. How are you connecting, he's sleeping at his aunt's house, that he's homeless?
It honestly, it roots into a lot bigger issue because it's a huge moneymaker, homelessness, as it is with the population we have in Lowell that are homeless, right? So the city gets money for it, as does the school districts get more money when students are labeled homeless. If you were to look at the fair student funding, there's more money attributed per homeless student. So again, it's a money-making thing, but nothing's really happening to make it better. Or a money-giving thing. Not that the districts don't need it, not that Lowell Public Schools doesn't need that extra funding, but are we pointing it and applying it in the right direction to actually helping in the situation and not just trying to get more numbers to get more money?
Eileen, I still say it's mislabeling, but I want to hear Cliff's excuse why it's not mislabeling.
I think when children are couch surfing, it's an indication of issues. Homelessness is a bad umbrella term, but it's the umbrella term we have for this situation. I'm deferring to Dave on this.
I'm not going to argue with you, Cliff.
Now,
I'm going to open up and do the announcements.
all right, go for it.
And first one tonight is Rita Mercier's party.
Oh,
Let me just drag this up a little bit. And Rita Mercier's party tonight, committee to re-elect Rita Mercier, councilor at large. Come and join me at the Mount Pleasant Country Club, 141 Staple Street in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. The only rule is you got to come hungry. Rita usually has a ton of food there.
I think it's her birthday, too, if I recall.
Today's her birthday.
I think it
She
is,
turned
yeah.
66 years old today, so God bless
I
her.
thought it was 59.
I heard 66, but
Okay.
I'll go with 59. She looks marvelous.
All right.
And so that's tonight. I know I'll be there. I hope to see you guys there. And starts at 6, and there'll be plenty of food there. The Lowell Police, they're having this little seminar, little learning thing for to help educate the public what they do. And so if you're interested in the Lowell Police, they're going to have this thing starting October 8th. Take your phone out of your pocket, take a picture of this slide. There's a website you can go and visit. Oh, come on, city's coming up next. There's a little, right down here, zoom in on this guy here with your phone. Go to that website and sign up and learn all about what the cops are doing. And nice service that the chief's putting out there. Thank you. Moving right along to Sidney Lang's having a party. He's running for city council. And it's going to be Wednesday, next Wednesday, October 8th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Charlie's Pub on 14 Cabot Street in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. Sidney's got 2 QR codes. The one on the right brings you to his website if you want to know more about Sidney. And if you just want to help him out financially, you can make a donation right here on this QR code right here. So again, take a picture of this slide. It'll help you navigate to that. Coming up soon is going to be the Bridge Club. The Bridge Club in downtown Lowell, across from the auditorium, is saving lives, saving families. Good organization. They're having their annual fundraiser Thursday, October 9th at the Lindsay's out in delightful Dracut. $145 a ticket. They're honoring Karen Frederick. Karen Frederick expanded CTI to help thousands and thousands of people. Great, fantastic leader, and God bless her. She did a lot of good work. So they're honoring her that nicely. And then we get Derek Sanderson from the Boston Bruins. He's going to be there too. But the main thing is there's a QR code up here. This will bring you right to their website. You can make a donation. You don't have to go to the party. Just if you want to make a donation, they'd love to have it. And again, they're saving lives down there. Moving right along here to Danny Rourke's party. Let me blow this up a little bit. Too much. Okay. That fits everything. Okay, so campaign party for Lowell Mayor Dan Rourke. It's at the Athenian Corner, 207 Market Street in downtown Lowell from 5 to 7 p.m. on October 9th. Donations start at $20 and go up. And Danny, good guy, so hope to see you at his party. That's going to be October 9th. These are the neighborhood meetings. I'm told the South Lowell meeting got canceled. I don't know why, but I'm told this one got canceled. But the rest are all on, so whatever neighborhood you live in, take a picture of this one with your phone and consider going to a neighborhood meeting. If your neighborhood meeting isn't up here, just call the Lowell police and they'll be happy to put your neighborhood meeting notice up. Eric Gitchie is having a party, October 16th, campaign fundraiser Thursday, October 16th, hosted by Ryan Ferrara and Eric Gitchie for Lowell City Council at large. He's going to have it down at the Wappin Weft, 197 Market Street in downtown Lowell, from 5:30 to 8 p.m. That's on October 16th. Donations start at $25 and go up. And then we have this fantastic breakfast out in Tewksbury. You got to go hungry to this. They don't care where you live. They don't care how old you are that day. You don't have to be a senior. But Sunday, October 26th, the Tewksbury Senior Center, they're going to have a breakfast. I've gone to this a bunch of times. Just go hungry. They have all kinds of good breakfast goodies there, a lot of smiles. Coffee's great. And that's my last announcement. So I hope to see you there October 26th. Back over to you, Cliff. Thanks.
So Dave, are you going to give us a campaign party?
Am I going to what?
Have a campaign party?
No.
Eileen, are you going to have a campaign party?
I did in July. You missed it, Cliff. It was a signing party. It was delicious.
That's right, pizza one, right?
So, Eileen, I saw some numbers on the demographics for the school, and they had Asian Americans at less than 10%, whereas I think Asian Americans are like 22% of our overall population. Are they just not having any kids? And then mixed race was 18%, but Wikipedia says it's 5%. So what's the story on this?
I did not get that far into your agenda last night, Cliff, so I'm not able to articulate a strong research-based answer behind this, so I don't know.
That sounded good, didn't it, huh?
Yeah. Except I brought this up 2 weeks ago. So are we getting good statistics? Do we think?
Are you talking about the statistics from the school department or from the
Yeah,
city?
from the school department.
That I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Speaking of statistics, did you see about the Des Moines, Iowa superintendent who had to step down?
Yes.
Are we doing a better job than the Des Moines, Iowa school committee?
I don't think he was certified either for, is that, and I'm not sure if I heard that correctly or not, but wasn't certified as a superintendent? I don't know how usually they have a system where an organization or a group will vet the superintendents and then start, and then narrowing it down, or superintendent candidates, I should say. And then the final decision, obviously, is with the school committee. But all that information is supposedly done way in advance. So you don't have an embarrassment like this because you hire someone that doesn't meet the criteria.
Not even a legal resident of the United States. So,
Right.
yeah, that was something.
And I think they were also questioning his certification.
And his PhD.
Yeah.
So-
Right, but so he did have his PhD,
No, he didn't.
He didn't have the PhD either,
No.
so he wasn't
but he
certified.
claimed that he did.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
he was kind of 0 for 3 then, right?
Yes,
No degree, no certification, and not a citizen. Oh,
right.
yeah.
I wouldn't.
I mean, when
hire-
I think about it, like when we get the applications for superintendent and all the resumes, we go through them, we see them, but we're not also responsible for collecting the evidence. It's Jim Hall, so we have to kind of trust in that process. So, but it would be interesting to see how he even presented his resume as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they usually have an organization that comes in too. I know that we have used I think it's called, I don't know if it's the Massachusetts Superintendents Organization that will help vet these, if I recall, help vet them out.
That's what I
Kind of
recall,
narrow
yeah.
the field down a bit,
So, but we're not going to go the way of Des Moines, right? Liam Skinner is a real citizen, and he's got his own PhD.
I hope so. No,
I don't think he has his PhD yet.
Oh.
He has his he has a
Superintendent's certification.
superintendent's license that he's worked on since being selected as the interim superintendent a few years ago. He has done lots of work on that and works with somebody to help him to like create the goals, almost like a mentor, I believe, because she had come to the meeting one night and he talks of it often in some of his presentations. So he's following the steps of what to do to be fully credentialed.
Well, I think they do that for all new superintendents. I'm not sure what the time frame is on that, whether it's a year, 2 years, or forever. I'm not sure.
How are we going to be approaching COVID shots this year? Are they going to be mandated for staff and students, or is this up to the parents and the individuals? Is DESE, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, going to come up with some mandate? Do we know?
I would just like to note that even when COVID hit at its peak in 2020 and everything was shut down for so long, we were all told in the schools that we need our COVID vaccines before we return, and nobody in Lowell Public Schools ever asked for my proof of a COVID vaccine. And I want to say the only place that maybe did is that after I was elected, when I went to Lawrence, I did have to submit it for them. So different systems are variable, and it's quite interesting.
Okay, so it's being left up to the individual individuals. What about MCAS? I understand the results are out.
Yes, we briefly went over them Wednesday night, and it looks like Lowell made substantial progress with 51%. It's a lot of unpacking to do. I really kind of want to dig into it a little more, because I want to make sure we're 51% going the good way, right? And we had more students not meeting expectations than the state, because we get compared to the state. So, I'm interested to dig into it.
Yeah,
But we did have some schools that got recognized, which was nice. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, no, I think that what we did was we did talk about the fact that, when these numbers come out, in order to, should we say, translate them, it's going to take a little while, or as you said, unpack them. So I think in the next few weeks, we're going to be, dissecting and taking a look and seeing exactly what these numbers represent. I think that initially, it looks like we're going in the right direction. That's what I got out of the meeting. Does it mean that we're where we want to be? No. Obviously, there's a lot of work that has to be done there. So that's where, again, in the next few weeks, I'm sure that we'll be looking at these numbers a little bit closer.
Yeah, and as the head of DESE had come out of Massachusetts and said these scores were very sobering, really, to look at. And, kudos on Lowell for making the incremental changes that they have. It's about 25% are meeting or not meeting or exceeding expectations. But then you have to look at it like 75% are not meeting expectations, right? So 3 out of 4 are not where they should be at, right? And that is a little discouraging, but the recognition of the incremental changes, that's the only way we're going to do it, right? We're going to slowly go up here, but I don't know. And my issue is that when I see kids doing the MCAS, it's a hunt and peck thing. Not a lot of kids take it so seriously. Right. So it's hard to really tell. But from what I've seen, our kids today aren't really applying the skills or using the skills that they're supposed to be learning practically, And so I would like to see an all-inclusive, like how does the MCAS relate to all the quarterly reports that we get in the IXL and not the IXL, I don't think Lowell has IXL, but the KPI reports, and how does it relate to the iReady testing that we get the reports on, the math testing that we get the reports on, and how does it all relate? Because I think it's important to look at that when we're comparing to other cities in Massachusetts, and then as it relates to other states, and who our kids are going to be competing with.
I got 2 texts I'm going to read here. When the state starts bringing the statistics, everyone should be a little leery of its authenticity. Next text, so the kids are homeless, but not unhoused. Talk about talking out of the both sides of our mouth. Interesting comment. Back to you, Cliff.
Okay.
Eileen did mention that there were a few schools that were recognized in a positive way, and if I recall, it was the Moody School was one of them. I know that, and I believe it was the Washington and the Stocklosa, I think.
Yeah, those are the 3 of them.
Right. Yeah, turning things around and so forth. So, you got to give kudos to them.
I always liked standardized test because it was a way for me to do better than my grade average. I was in the bottom half of my class in high school.
Yeah.
But I did well on the SAT. I got an appointment to the Coast Guard Academy based on taking a standardized test. I got an appointment to the Air Force Academy. And even when I did the graduate record exam, my score was a lot better than my grade average. And in fact, I got through the graduate record exam pretty quick. I was reading a book, so I buzzed through it so I could go out in the hallway and finish reading my book.
Yeah.
But
You're an exceptional student, Cliff.
no, a lousy student, but a great test taker. I did not use the IBM system. I'm going to read Randy Weingartner's book and see if I can learn something about improving public education, but some blogger from Iowa, Dave Burgee, the Iowa Hawk, said, "We spent 30-plus years in infant money on injecting fashionable nonsense into school curricula based on nothing but the vibes of the ed school professoriate and the incontrovertible empirical evidence from Mississippi proves what a total waste all of it was." Have you seen how Mississippi is doing so well in reading? I mean, when I was a kid.
A
Yeah,
little tighter on the mic, gentlemen.
All right. Go ahead.
I heard about that, Mississippi doing well, which kind of surprised me a bit, to tell you the truth, because I think years ago it was kind of in the reverse, if I remember.
It's the way I remember it.
So, I mean, you have to take a look and see what they're doing, and I think from what I'm understanding, is they're concentrating on the basics.
Yes.
Is that what you?
That's my understanding. I mean, in my mind,
Yeah.
if you asked me to pick the worst state for schools, I would have picked Mississippi.
Right, years ago, right.
Yeah.
Not now, though. But, I mean, if they're that successful, it's like, well, what are they doing that we're not doing?
Good way to look at it, Dave.
Sorry?
Good way to look at it.
Yeah, why not?
Uh,
Go to
what-
school on them.
Question from the audience. Superintendent Skinner has been here for 3 years. What's your evaluation, A, B, C, D, or F? Anybody want to take a stab at that?
I don't think it's appropriate to be talking about the evaluation. I mean, that's a personnel matter. I don't want to get into starting to discuss the particulars.
Eileen, you got a evaluation on Skinner, A, B, C, D, or F?
Well, were you talking to me? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yep. Question from the audience. Skinner's been here for a few years. Do you give him an A, B, C, D, or F?
I mean, I'd give him a B because, I mean, it's constant work. I know he's a hard worker. I know he's dedicated to Lowell Public Schools. There's so many various populations that need attention that it's intensive, and like my concern was the schools that, like the Robinson, the Sullivan, I believe, the Lowell High School, and there are 4 schools that have been in need of intensive help or need of intervention, right? And so what's happening with those 4 schools that need that help, right? And so I just want us to do good for all kids in Lowell.
Thank you. Thank you, Cliff.
So I'm kind of wondering if the solution is students with parents motivated to motivate the students. when Latifah James, a couple years ago, put out statistics and what I would call the non-academic indicators of performance: tardiness, truancy, dropout rate, did you bother going to college? And the best students in Lowell were the Asian Americans. Next best were blacks. Next were Caucasians, and the Hispanics were at the bottom. And I wondered if this was an indication of parental involvement. Those Asian American students' parents have escaped the problems in Indochina, Cambodia in particular. I wonder if that gave them a special motivation, plus this sort of Asian appreciation for education. The black students are parents. I mean, black students are Nisi and Sensi. Their parents came here from Africa, thus demonstrating that they're motivated, they're hardworking. Did those parents influence their children? And then the Caucasians and Hispanics, are we kind of lackadaisical? I'm wondering, are parents an important factor in trying to get this education ball rolling?
Well, I think it certainly is a team effort, and it's reinforced at the home.
And the parents are on the team.
I'm sorry?
And the parents are on the team.
Oh, absolutely, the parents are on the team. The fact is that the schools have the students for whatever time, 6 hours, 6.5 hours a day, and then they go into another environment. So yeah, obviously it is that combination of the parent working with the schools, and the schools have, they've got to do their job too. And what you just mentioned, which I brought up a few weeks ago, the attendance rate. If the student is not sitting in that seat, education doesn't take place. So what's the ramifications on that? The negative ramifications is the fact that students are not going to get good grades, they're not going to understand the material, and therefore they're not going to have the opportunity to go to the schools that they could potentially go to. You take a look, and I brought it up on the floor, our attendance rate is not good at the high school, plus the fact is, you see it's kids are cutting left and right, and they're leaving the building. And it almost looked like, and I said it on the floor, it looked like there's an attitude out there by some people that it's an open campus. And there has to be ramifications when students cut their class. Now, if there's nothing that goes on, and there's not the appropriate discipline action taken, and it's not uniformed through all the houses, you have a problem. And I think that's one of the problems that needs to be worked on at the high school, to be quite frank with you.
Well,
I mean,
David,
it's just
think
because I spent my whole life there, and
We all
I've dealt
forget
with that.
nobody stays back in Massachusetts anymore. Nobody stays back. No matter how bad of a freshman you are, you're going to be a sophomore next year. No matter how bad of a sophomore you are.
Well, it goes by credits. It's different than an
Yeah, but
elementary.
okay, Dave, how many stayed back?
I don't know. Well,
Zero.
I think in the high school level, it's not that it stayed back, it's how many graduated. Because what
I
happens.
know we got all these complex things. David, how many people stayed back in the whole school system last year? And I'm going to, less than 2. And we have thousands and thousands of students.
But I'm just saying that the high school level, the staying back is a different thing, because you could have your 5 classes and 5 potentially 25 credits or whatever it is, and you could fail 2 classes, but then not, and it's at the end of the 4 years, you have your, I don't know if it's 85 credits now you need or whatever it is. If you get the 85 credits, then you graduate. If you don't get the 85 credits, then you got to go to summer school or whatever it is. Elementary school is that's completely different.
So we're not giving diplomas to everybody? Is that what you're saying?
Not until they get their 85 credits. When they get their 85 credits, they get their diploma, obviously.
Now,
I mean,
what is-
somebody could be there for 4 years and have 70 credits. They're not going to get a diploma.
Now, will the state pay for me to take 5 years of high school?
I think that they would stay until they.
So the state will keep paying for my education? Good. Now, what are we doing about these poor kiddos, the 11-year-olds? And not that it's your problem, Dad, but I'm going to ask Eileen to comment about this too. What are we doing about this poor kiddo's 11 years old, can't read? What are we doing about to help this kiddo out?
Well, I mean, they certainly have. I think that's where, we talk about the resources for the school department and spending money wisely. The bottom line is it's the classroom. That's what's going to make the difference. That's where the funding should be put into there with the teachers, with the paras, with the tutors. And they're the ones that are going to make the difference on it. It's not the central administration, not the. And I'm not saying they're not part of the team. Of course they are. We all know that. But education is in that classroom, and that's where the resources have to go. Too often, there are. If you take a look at jobs, and we need the teachers and the paras and the tutors, not additional administrators, to be quite frank with you. Even though people will say, well, in Brockton they have this and they have that. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is making sure that the kids in the elementary level or at any level, they get the resources and the help that they need, so that this kid here that you just had up on the screen will be able to read.
Okay, Eileen, what are your thoughts on the 11-year-old that can't read? How are we going to make that kiddo read?
She may be en route.
Go ahead, say, how are we gonna make that kid that can't read, be able to read?
Correct.
We have to overhaul this system and look at smaller numbers in classes and meet the needs of where they are in reading, and do I say we do mini individualized education plans for these kids to make sure, but that takes a lot of work, and it's not something you can just throw money at. And so we need to do the work and not just look at it as a blanket. If you're behind, and no, too bad for you. Here you go. Here's the next grade.
Thank you. Back to Cliff.
So I was thinking about this last night when I should have been sleeping, and I was wondering about, would there be any advantage to having, say, some experimental classes where the parents, the student, and the principal signed a contract? Tier 1, they agree no tardiness, no truancy, and 1 hour of supervised homework 5 days a week. And Tier 2 would be all that except 2 hours of homework, supervised homework 5 days a week. And my Tier 3 was parents would agree to have purchase a subscription to a periodical, and the child would write one short 120-word paper on an article of the periodical, and a book club where a book would come in every month and the student would write a book report. And my idea was have a bunch of different book clubs focusing on, classics, great novels, current novels, autobiographies, any kind of groupings, and we could do a contract with Lowell Books, and they would make the book club work. That kind of...
Theoretically, maybe, but you're also implying that all the students have the skills to do that and sustain the attention to do that. And kids, I don't even think kids write book reports anymore. I think that's completely taken out of the curriculum.
Comment from the audience. Another great show today, Cliff. If you only had Bavarian cream donut, note to Eileen, the show would be a 10 out of 10. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. That's from Bart. Back to you,
Thanks,
Cliff.
Bart. Okay, well, anyway, that was my my
I think those
Thoughts of
contracts
nightmare.
might be broken pretty quick, but.
Well,
No.
I think one of the problems is we've had so many generations of nobody stays back. These single parents out there don't have the time, won't make the time, or don't have the time to sit down and go over the kids' homework with them every night. And go play on your phone. I don't think that's being touched on at all by the school system. What are your thoughts, David?
Well, I'll tell you, I was talking to a woman in the last year, Cambodian lady, very lovely, and she had 3 children. Her English was not great at all, and she said to me, and I think the world of her, she's just a very special person, and she said her 3 children graduated from Lowell High, and they have done very, very well. And I said, how did you handle that? And she said, well, I figured if I was asking them to do their homework, then it was my job to also be there at that table with them. I didn't know what they were doing, but I wanted to support them by being there with them. And I think that makes a big difference. I mean, I don't care whether it's academics or sports. When the kid sees
Yeah.
the parent there, it's like, wow, they really care.
You know-
And-
Well, it's a very
and that
good angle.
worked.
Very good angle.
On just that experience, the thing, I knew where I was when I was driving south on 38, passing Saints Memorial, when I heard that exact same story on NPR.
Really?
15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and it made such an impression.
Ah.
The mother was Cluedo, but she was there.
She was there. I think
I think the genius of it is the kiddo understands the subject matter much better than you think when he has to teach his mother his lesson.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to just give you a little side story here. I remember when I was studying in the seminary, and we were going over mitosis or meiosis or whatever it was, and I was having a little difficult time with it, and a friend of mine there said to me, let's go down to the lab, I'll help you with it. So he put the stuff up on the board, and he said to me, do you get it? And I said, yeah, I think I do. And he said, okay. So he went and sat on the seat, and he gave me the chalk and said, okay, teach it to me. And I started, and I didn't know it. So we reversed it again until eventually I could teach him. So yeah, when you can teach it, then you do know it.
Yeah.
And those kids, that lady, again, I use her as a real role model because, did she go to school? I listened to her story and of what she went through in Cambodia. It was unbelievable. It was so bizarre. It was terrible. But yet, here she was, and those 3 kids were very successful.
Yeah,
Coming up on Monday's show, we got Cliff's going to be the host. Eileen Delrossi will be here through neck and bang. Mike Smith and Sherry Barboza, candidate for City Council. She's going to be here as a guest. Back to you, Cliff. Time is shot.
Okay. I just want a totally different. I saw yesterday where Toby Leary, who has a gun shop down on the Cape Gun Works. For 10 years, he's been on YouTube with his Leary Rapid Fire channel. They canceled him. I mean, that I thought maybe we had reversed on that kind of stuff when Elon Musk bought X. But, I mean, I listen to Toby Leary, not every week, but from time to time. I don't find him offensive. I'm just shocked that they was up and I'm worried about free speech in the United States.
I'm so sorry, Cliff. I can hear the disappointment in your voice. I feel like you really like this show and this guy.
Well, actually, I've never seen his YouTube channel, but I'm very disappointed that it got canceled by YouTube. What are those people thinking?
Well, YouTube, I feel like YouTube is going one sort of direction, and they have to be very careful. The type of wordings in terms of, what did he do again? Did he talk about guns and so forth?
Yeah.
So they scan YouTube for any words like that, like drugs, guns, any type of violence. And that's what happens. Like if it shows up too many times, they look at it as it's a threat and it could just shut YouTube down whatsoever. So maybe YouTube isn't the right platform for him, right? Maybe he needs to go to a different platform that understands what his mission is.
Yeah, it's very disappointing to me. But, all right, Dave, I'll give you, since you are actually a candidate, I'll give you the last word here.
Well, thank you for having me here, and it's been a while since I've sat in this seat here, and I enjoyed it, and I thank Eileen. She does a great job. She gets me in trouble, though, sometimes at the school committee, you know.
But I can believe that.
Yeah.
No comment.
So, yeah, thank you. And John, once again, you guys put this together day in and day out. I applaud you. It's I think it's a service that certainly is needed, and
Thank you, David. I'll put you on the judgment team on Judgment Day.
all right, I'll be there.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, Eileen. And thanks to our producer, John McDonough. And you all have a good weekend. And say a prayer for
The family of Kennedy.
Ed Kennedy and his family. Yep. Very sad, very sad. That's it. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.